My brother abandoned his 3 kids and sued me for kidnapping when I took them in. I never thought I'd be the woman getting served custody papers at a playground while the 3 kids I raised for 8 years watched their dad try to steal them back. But here we are. It started with a 2 a.m. call from the hospital 8 years ago. My sister-in-law had died during an emergency C-section, and my brother Terrence was catatonic. When I got there, he was clutching her death certificate like if he held it tight enough, she might come back. His 3 kids were also there. Millie was 6, Noah was 4, and baby Lily was hours old screaming in the nursery. I left for 10 minutes to get him some coffee, and when I came back, I found a note on the hospital pillow saying he couldn't look at his kids without seeing her and just needed a few weeks. By morning, his phone was disconnected, and the social worker said that either I had to take them in or they'd send them to group homes. I was 2 semesters away from finishing law school, but signed the papers anyway. That first week nearly broke me. Millie kept asking when mommy was coming back while I fumbled with formula at 3 a.m. The landlord threatened eviction over Lily's crying. I couldn't enroll Millie in school without guardianship papers, and the pediatrician turned us away without parental consent. Then I discovered Terrence had emptied their joint account and listed their house for sale. His job said he'd resign via email with no forwarding address. I had $1,847 in savings, and student loans were coming due. I had no choice and withdrew from law school. The first sign of life came a year later, a photo from some meditation retreat with Terrence claiming he was still healing. By then, I was working overnight warehouse shifts and day shifts at a diner while Millie had started calling me mama during nightmares. My boyfriend of 3 years walked out saying he didn't sign up for an instant family. I spent that Christmas alone crying after the kids went to bed, wondering how long I could keep going. By year 3, I'd made restaurant manager and moved us to a 3-bedroom. Terrence's Instagram showed him backpacking Peru on his spiritual awakening journey. He'd surface for birthdays with expensive gifts, staying 45 minutes max, always promising to figure things out soon. What killed me was learning he'd inherited $200,000 in life insurance, but claimed he needed to find himself first before letting the kids see a dime, while I scraped together money for Noah's speech therapy. Years passed, and we built our life. The kids thrived. School forms listed me as their mother, and Terrence never corrected it. He visited maybe 3 times a year playing the uncle who brought cool presents. I'd given up on him ever stepping up. Then 8 years after his disappearance act, his posts changed. Suddenly he had a house and a girlfriend named Crystal, who called herself a life coach, and then a pregnancy announcement. He started asking about the kids' schedules, showing up to Millie's recital with Crystal. It was his first school event ever. Crystal kept commenting how wonderful the children were, and Terrence requested copies of all their records for his files. My gut screamed something was wrong. The ambush came 2 months later. Terrence asked to meet at the park to discuss the kids' future, but showed up with Crystal and a lawyer who slapped papers in my hand. They were charging me with kidnapping, alienation, and emotional damages. Crystal had her phone out recording while Terrence claimed I'd refused to let him see his children all these years. He had edited texts that made it look like I'd kept them from him. The kids were watching everything, and Millie was shaking so hard I thought she might collapse. Then the truth came out. Crystal's pregnancy was high risk and expensive. Terrence's inheritance was gone from a failed wellness center. But here's the kicker. My sister-in-law's parents had set up trust funds for the grandchildren, only accessible if Terrence had custody. He'd been planning this for months, but I was ready. I had everything documented though. 8 years of receipts, medical records, school forms, every text showing his abandonment. His own mother testified for me, revealing he'd asked her for money constantly, but refused to take the children. She told the court how he'd said they were better off with me. The judge interviewed each child privately. Millie told her, he's not my dad, he's just the man who visits sometimes. Noah showed his journal where he called Terrence the toy bringer. Lily didn't even recognize him as her father. She drew me in every family picture. All 3 begged not to be taken from me. Terrence's story kept changing under pressure. Crystal's face went white as she realized she'd been lied to about everything. He finally admitted to needing space, but claimed time got away. Then he accidentally revealed he'd been claiming the kids as dependents for tax benefits all these years while I paid for everything. I thought we had won. The judge seemed ready to rule in my favor. Then a court officer rushed in whispering urgently. The judge's face changed completely. She called an immediate recess, announcing the biological grandparents had filed an emergency petition, claiming neither Terrence nor I should have custody, and that we'd both been hiding something critical about their daughter's death. My sister-in-law had left a sealed letter with her attorney only to be opened if custody was ever disputed. Terrence looked genuinely shocked for the first time. Full story on channel, linked below.